Okay, so again, thank you so much, everyone, for your wonderful questions and Sir Galva's first insightful talk about student life in Japan. Next in line is known as the Asian financial powerhouse, home to one of the biggest banks in the world, HSBC, and numerous universities such as Hong Kong Polytechnic University, City University of Hong Kong, and Chinese University of Hong Kong. So together with us today, will be two students coming from Hong Kong. Unfortunately, Mr. Liu could not come today, but instead we'll be having Hannah Lam and Diana Silva from the um, Philippine United Student Organization at CUHK, a student-led Filipino association on campus. So let's give it up for both Hannah and Diana as they tour us around the views from the hill, Hong Kong.
Hello everyone. Sorry that I couldn't start my video, but I'm here to represent Hong Kong and as well as CUHK, my university. And I'm here with Diana. Diana, are you here?
Hi guys, I'm here as well. I'm also from CUHK Hong Kong. I'm actually a local student, so I'm just here for like accessory to give some perspective of what it's like as a local. But Hannah will be guiding you through the main points of how to approach Hong Kong as an international student.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here, Diana. I just want to say, even if Diana is a local student, she is still very much Filipino. So yeah, thank you for being here, Diana. I'm gonna share some slides, and I just want you guys to know also that um, uh, these slides are the slides that we usually have in our information sessions. So yeah, let me just tell you more about it in a bit. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? I hope you guys can see it.
Yep, Hannah,
Okay.
it's clear.
Okay, thank you, Diana. Okay, so yeah, this is actually the Chinese University of Hong Kong information session slides that we use. We're very busy, so unfortunately we couldn't prepare some slides, but it's very useful and we can definitely give you a lot of insights about why you should study in Hong Kong. And so before we start, I'm Hannah. I'm an incoming year 3 student. I study integrated business in CUHK, and I am concentrating in big data and quantitative marketing. And I'm here not just to represent myself and my university, but I'm also here to represent this association, this Filipino association that I'm a co-founder of. And so we are Philippine United Student Organization, or in short of PUSO. We are one of the earliest, or I'm not sure if we're the first, but then we're definitely one of the earliest Filipino-based associations in all of Hong Kong universities. And we're here to share more about Filipino culture and break stereotypes in Hong Kong or even all over the world. So yeah, here we are. We have made a lot of events. We've brought a lot of our the cultural aspects of being Filipino to Hong Kong. Like we did this Harana event thing where people pay us $10 to sing for a person of their choice and for a song of their choice with a song of their choice as well. We also had a cultural night, and yeah, the school really loved us after that. So yeah, okay, that was just a short introduction. And I will start also this presentation by telling you guys why should you study in Hong Kong. The thing is, I know that there are a lot of Filipinos that wish to go abroad, And I do respect that. And a lot of people who do choose or who do want to go abroad want to go to the West. So their first choices would probably be the US, the UK, or Canada. I respect that as well. Uh, and I understand, it's very understandable. But I think that studying in Hong Kong is a very good opportunity for a lot of people, especially for those who think that the West is too far, or maybe they want to be near home. And not just that, but if you want to go into finance and business, I think that Hong Kong is a really good place for you. So let me start. First is the international community. So Hong Kong is a melting pot of a lot of cultures. Yes, it's very local, but it's also very international. So there are a lot of expats who study here, and I think it's possible to get by with English. Me as a Filipino, it's been 2 years and only know like around 20 words of Cantonese. So I am a living testament that you can get by with just English. So um, I know that a lot of people, when people ask me like, oh, you study in Chinese university, you study in Hong Kong, do they speak in English? Do they teach in English? Yes, they do. And I think you just meet people from all over the world, from all over Asia, from South Asia, Central Asia, from Southeast Asia, and not just that, but even beyond Asia, you meet a lot of exchange students from all over Europe, and even from I don't know, from countries that you wouldn't really be exposed to if let's say you stayed in the Philippines. I think it's also a home. It's very homey, and a lot of people are just in the same boat where you're um, in a new country together with the language barrier, and you all are just figuring out life together. And I think that's what I appreciate about Hong Kong. Second, it's efficient and safe. So actually, I would actually think that this should be two separate numbers because they're both very big things for me, at least, and I would believe also for some of you. It's efficient. Its transportation system is very efficient. You can go anywhere in a span of like 2 or like even 1 hour. You can go to the beach or even go to concrete jungles, and they're all just within reach. You can go on a hike and then later go, I don't know, go out at night to the red light district. It's possible to do that because of the really, really efficient bus and train system. And it's also really safe, relatively. I feel like this is the arc of what I think this is like the not the arc, but then definitely the it's one thing that Hong Kong has that a lot of countries might not have. Um, I think in terms of safety, my parents are very thankful that I'm in a safe place. And I think having strict parents, I it was definitely a no for me. Like it was not, I mean, sorry, but then I wasn't really allowed to apply to the US or to the UK because I have a very overprotective dad. So he knows that Hong Kong is a very safe place. And I think that can give a lot of reassurance to your parents. So if I know a lot of kids who are kind of convincing their parents that they want to study abroad, I think Hong Kong is a good place for you to do that. It's very safe, and you can go out at night and not worry about things that will happen to you. Third is career prospects. There's a lot of opportunities here, and the salary is very high. So I know that the standard of living is also high, but then the salary here is probably 3 times or 4 times as the starting salary in corporate Philippines. So I think that if you're going the corporate path, or even if you want to be a startup here, there's a lot of startup tech, especially in tech, that are funded by the government if you have good enough ideas. And so we have a very supportive and innovative government. And yeah, I think not just in career prospects, but even in terms of scholarship, I have a full scholarship with 30,000 Hong Kong dollars allowance every year. And that's just something I never thought I would reach. But because I tried to apply in Hong Kong, and yeah, I think it's very possible for all of you to get that as well, and to use that as your capital to start with your career. So because of the free scholarships and all that, you can use the opportunities here in the school and even, outside school to, further yourself and to be a better career person or a person in general. Yeah. And second, the last one is the permanent residency path. So it's very, I would say it's kind of easy to be a permanent resident if you study here. You just need 7 years of residing in Hong Kong. So after 4 years of being in, oh, I'm sorry, someone called me. After 4 years of being in university, you will have around 2 years or a year to get a job, and they'll give you a free that amount of time to stay in Hong Kong. And not a lot of countries do that. Some countries will automatically deport you back. So I think Hong Kong is very lenient when it comes to helping you find a job, because that takes time, especially in the economy nowadays. And then, yeah, after a year, let's say that's 5 years, you can just work for 2 years and you can become a permanent residency and have all the benefits. So yeah, that's an overview, and it's a very general overview. There's definitely more to fuss over about when it comes to being in Hong Kong. Now, I'm a COHK student. I also want to promote my university. My university is Chinese University of Hong Kong, as I've said before. It's not very known. It is known, but then people would opt to go to HKU or HKUST. Rightfully so, I respect that. But I also want people to know about the beauty of my university and of my campus. It's not actually my first choice, but I'm glad that I ended up here. There's no regrets. So yeah, we have many career prospects. I'm sure every university has this as well, but I feel like CUHK is very community and international school friendly. We have student helper, where you can earn a lot. Not really earn a lot, but you can earn $60 per hour and like get a job in university. We have internships organized by the school. We have case competitions, study tours, and all of that. There are so many things that you could, so many opportunities that you can grab in my university, including scholarships. So yeah, that's actually the third one, but let me just talk about that. I've talked to a lot of students from HKU and HKUST, and although I believe that they also have scholarships, but I also think that CUHK is the most generous in giving them. And that's because well, we're subsidized by the government. And I think it's really a priority of CUHK to get international students. And so a lot of my Filipino friends here, not just that, but other Southeast Asian friends, they also have full scholarships. It's not the most difficult. It's not impossible to get one. And I think it's less impossible than, let's say, if you study in HKUST or HKU. And you also have a very useful alumni network. I think we have a college system here. So a college system, okay, so I know that we call university, there are such thing as colleges too. So the college system in CUHK refers to kind of like Hogwarts houses. So because we're that big that we have different Hogwarts houses um that you will be sorted into. And that's what's so good about our campus. You have all these different characteristics, unique characteristics about your college that you'll be able to find belonging in, and as well as an alumni network that you could rely on in terms of career, and even within school, you can rely on them as well. And I also want to say that our campus is the biggest in Hong Kong. We're 138.4 hectares. We're bigger than Disneyland. We're more than twice bigger than HKUST, and we're almost 10 times bigger than HKU. We have a lot of nature here, and it's really, really good for, let's say, my mental health, and maybe it would be good for some of yours as well. So yeah, here are just some numbers. Yeah, our rankings, I know it could matter to some of you. I know it matters at some point. I mean, even to me, right? But then I'm also here to show you guys that COHK is just more than a university with a good ranking. We have the competitiveness in us, because once recruiters see that you're from our university, they will consider you and say that, oh, you are in a top university here, as much as HKU or HKUST. And not just that, but you also have the warm and friendly environment and community that you might not get in HKU or HKUST or the other universities. Um, there are a lot of I think there are a lot of stereotypes when it comes to the other universities, and our stereotype is that we come to class in pajamas. So if that is your vibe and that's your culture, then maybe applying to CUHK is for you. So I know I'm here to give a talk about Hong Kong, and I think that in general, Hong Kong is a place where you can get really good food. There are a lot of canteens in the campus that I am in. We have, I think we have like, I don't know how many colleges do we have? Nine colleges. So we have 9 areas in our campus where they have their own dorms, they have their own gyms, they have their own canteens, they have their own libraries. And you can just see how big CUHK is. And the thing is, let's say in other universities, I think it might not be as big as ours, but you will have opportunities as well to explore the different food. And it's not, you can explore local food. You can even explore other food as well. I know HKUSC has a McDonald's and a Subway. We also have a Subway. We have an Ebenezer's, which serves Middle Eastern and Indian cuisine, and it's halal. Each canteen has its own specialty. Some specializes in bubble tea, some in I don't know, curry, some in Sichuan spicy chicken. I think if you're a foodie, then I think Hong Kong is a good place to be. Even outside campus, I think it's easy to get food outside. There's so many places that you can explore in Central, in Causeway Bay, Bangkok. And excuse me, and even if you want to go to the more local places, then go to Saingpun, all the other stations that are not very visited. It's possible to go there because of the MTR station and the MTR transportation system. And I think, yeah, we also have university health services. In CUHK, we do have a clinic and it's free. I'm sure in other universities as well, there are clinics as well. And it's something that a lot of parents worry about. But I think the universities are very good in covering our expenses in a lot of ways. I know someone who, my senior, he is older than me and he got fever during COVID. And the university gave him free medication for him to heal. And because his fever and his cough lasted for like a month, they supplied that for him. And so I think it's a really good opportunity to grab as well, these types of services. It's really amazing, and it's something that we should definitely I encourage you guys to grab. So yeah, okay, so we also have the admission process, but I also want to talk about other things about Hong Kong. One thing before I continue, I just want to talk about how Hong Kong is a really, really good place to immerse in different cultures because, as I've said earlier, it's incredibly local and it's also incredibly international. So if you guys didn't know, Hong Kong was a colony of the British for a long time. And now we have this, it's called a special administrative region right now, right? Same as Macau. So it's HKSAR. It's not necessarily its own country, but it's a city that has its own system. And I think that Hong Kong is so good because culturally the people are very local, but then they've adapted the um the history that they've and like all the things that they've gotten from being a colony of the British, and they've adapted all that for it to work for their own good. And that's why Hong Kong is one of the top places in the world to be in terms of career and university. And I think that's something that we're proud of. We only have like around 7 million people, and yet there are so many top universities here that are in the top 50 in terms of ranking. So I think it's a very good place to be in if you want to be molded and stretched out, because the work here is not easy. It's not lax. I think back home we have a very lax culture. But then here it's always you're always on the run, you're always in the hustle bustle culture. And yeah, things are just faster here. And I think you'll really be stretched if you go here. So yeah, let me talk about admissions. So this is non-JUPAS. JUPAS is okay, this is not your concern. But anyway, yeah, so we have some uh detailed application instructions here. You have to mail physical supporting documents, as you can see. Um, it's as normal. You go to the website, you register, you provide supporting documents. And I think the thing about this is, my top tip for you guys is don't be afraid to email them in case, let's say, okay, I let's say I'm a local, I took IB. So I would say if you're an IB student, it's a bit easier for you to apply. And also because you get a lot of benefits from being an IB student, like you get an exemption from around, let's say, 18 to 20 credits. That's almost a semester worth of classes. So you can actually graduate earlier. But if you're not an IB or a Cambridge student, that's also fine. I think I also encourage you guys to apply. My seniors, they applied by taking SAT and TOEFL, and they also, some of them get full scholarships as well. So it's possible. And let's say if I know that's a new policy that you can apply using your local grades, but I don't know if the success rate of that is high. I still encourage you guys to take SAT and to take TOEFL if you want to get the best results possible. But again, the process may vary per major requirement and also per case. I think the best way you can actually get most of your application to Hong Kong and let's say CUHK, but also Hong Kong in general, is to champion for yourself through email. So don't be afraid to email them, tell them your situation. Let's say, for example, oh, I was too late to take the SATs and I only have local grades. Is this possible? I know someone in HKUST who got accepted with just local grades. And I think the person took STEM or ABM. I'm not sure. So I think these types of things, it's possible, although it might not be very successful. Yeah, so again, top tip, champion yourself through email. Tell them your situation and don't be afraid to email them. Yeah, so there, as you can see, there's a lot of things you need to give them. Also, oh, before I continue, I would want to tell you guys, maybe if you want to save for the application fee, please do so. It's around I believe it's around 4,000 pesos for the application fee. So it might be even more, maybe 5,000 now. I might be wrong, but maybe that's a number that you guys could take into account. And the thing is, let's say if you do get in, the deposit is expensive. It's 10,000 Hong Kong dollars. So that's around 70,000 pesos. So if you guys want to go abroad, then I think it's best if you guys start telling your parents your plans starting now, especially let's say if you're a grade 12, then time is a bit shorter. So yeah, anyway, so supporting documents, so passport, scanned copy, high school grades, diploma, all these things. And then yeah, please email them if you need this, the TOEFL or the IELTS that you need to submit, recommendations, and your personal statement. So I'm thinking you guys would be providing all of these in English. Yeah, I'm assuming so. So yeah, these are the general grade requirements. But the thing is, this varies per major. And like I think that it's you can also champion for yourself. Let's say if you don't meet the grade requirement by a bit, it's possible for you to appeal if you say, "Oh, I really want to be part of this university. I know that my grade didn't get it." Still try to appeal and champion for yourself. Tell them about your extracurriculars, your own projects, and I think that sometimes it may work. Okay. So yeah, here are the links for your information. You guys can scan it, screenshot it, then scan it. And then here are some dates. And also remember, please note that the months are the same most of the time, but the specific dates vary each academic year. So please make an Excel sheet, let's say, or a Google sheet or a tracker. I do recommend that to stay on top of your applications. For dates to remember, so let's say if you want to go for the early round, start applying by November. I think I applied, oh, I don't remember. I think I applied around November and then I got my result around February. So yeah, and you can also start applying by January and then you'll get your results much later. The thing is, I know someone who applied by May and still got in and accepted his offer in CUHK. And I think that this is only for CUHK, but in general, the Hong Kong application timeline is earlier than let's say the US. Oh, no, it's later than the US. I'm so sorry. So it will start around November of the year prior to your intake, and then it will end around, it can end to, let's say, as late as August of the year that you're trying to get in your university. So yeah, it's later, but also it doesn't mean that you guys should slack off. Still take heed, be vigilant of the deadlines and schedule it. The fees are expensive, but let me just give you guys the figures. So if you're a local student, let's say if your parents are Hong Kong's residents, then you could be a local and then get this. But if not, then it's this per year. So yeah. And yeah, I'll just skip that and then I'm about to end, but I also want to plug in our information session that we're going to be having in like less than 2 weeks' time. So on a Wednesday, we're going to be having it September 4. Please take a screenshot of this, scan it, and please join our information session if you want to know more about specifically CUHK. And we can also be talking more about Hong Kong if you'd like. We'll answer your questions more specifically in this information session. And yeah, I think that's it. These are our socials. Thank you so much for inviting me for this talk, me and Diana as well. And I hope that this was helpful to you guys. If you guys want to ask us anything, please email us through this email, pusa.cohk@gmail.com, or message us on IG or WhatsApp. And we thank CAMP for this opportunity to have this sharing with you guys. I wish you guys all the luck for your application and university journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we'll be opening the floor once again for any additional questions. Feel free to use the Q&A section of our Zoom meeting for your questions. Okay, our first question. What challenges did you face while adapting to life in Hong Kong, and how did you adapt to them?
Okay, so I'll answer this from a background of having been living in the Philippines for 18 years. I think I really miss the Philippines. The Philippines is really my home, and that might not be the case for all of you, but then I definitely think that the homesickness could kick in for you, and it could be there for, let's say, around a month or even more. For me, it was like also a few weeks, and it was hard because having to adjust from being surrounded by many people and many, let's say, high school friends that I've grown up with for like most of my life. And I'm now in university alone. And we don't have that, like, for example, I know Filipino colleges and universities, they have this thing called blocks, right? And they'll be with like the same people, like it's like a homeroom class for the rest of their years in university. We don't have that. So you really have to be independent here. But I think learning how to really put yourself out there and meet new people, go to different events, I think that would really help when it comes to the homesickness. Yeah.
I guess I also have something that I could say as like the
Yeah.
adverse. Like so because I'm a local student and I grew up here, I can say what I've noticed is different every time I go back home. So something I would like to emphasize for everyone who comes to Hong Kong, it is very fast-paced, the life here. It's a kind of ridiculous and it may seem overwhelming when you first come here, but then it becomes your norm of living and fast is it just feels right. I don't know how else to explain it. Every time I go back home, everything feels so slow. But that's another beauty about living in Hong Kong. Everything is so efficient and connected. So something that you might feel that is different from the Philippines, I would have to emphasize the transportation system because there's this level of
Right.
autonomy and independence that Hannah said that you will have by living here as a student in Hong Kong because you will get by yourself. You don't need to rely on knowing how to drive or the streets. You can get by with your own 2 feet. You're gonna get used to walking a lot, I'd say. So cardio will be your best friend. And
Yes.
the lifestyle here, it's again just very independent. You will meet so many different
Yeah.
people from different walks of life. If I had to just give like a brief outlook, I'm gonna say I had my birthday recently and I had people from Bangladesh, India, Philippines, Japan, Korea. You're gonna meet so many people here, and that's something that I don't think you'll be able to experience in the Philippines simply because of
Yeah.
what Hong Kong is. Hong Kong is a hub of international activity. And for some people, that might be daunting, but for a lot, I can imagine it will be an eye-opening experience and a good way to start your young adult life.
Yeah.
If you hear any background noise, that is the MTR system, which is Hong Kong's way of getting around, and it's very, very helpful for you. That's
I agree.
that's my opinion. I think that's what you're gonna experience if you come here.
Thank you so
agree.
much. For our next question, how does the competitive academic environment in Hong Kong influence the student life?
Sorry, can you repeat? How is the environment? Sorry.
Yes, the competitive academic environment in Hong Kong, yes, has it influenced student life?
Okay, wait, Diana, do you want to answer this first?
Okay. I would say that yes, it is competitive. Hong Kong is in one of the highest rankings of the world universities because it really pushes you. I think also this can be quite an individual experience depending on your learning style because again, university here is a very individual experience. Some people really thrive in, the typical high school setting of where there's like constant support and there's some sort of structure. But here you really gotta check your deadlines. You gotta check that you're on track on what you need to do. And another benefit, not just CUHK but the other Hong Kong universities, is that you tailor your schedule to your lifestyle. So some
Yeah.
people can be having really stressful first and second years, whereas some people have really stressful third and fourth years. It is really down to the individual, and I think that it is very. I don't think it's difficult for you to prosper here. I think secure your be diligent with yourself, secure your schedule, secure your social community because that's very important as a student, and secure your social connections because networking is one of the things that is very beneficial here in Hong Kong, and networking will get you from point A to point B really fast. In terms of academics itself, the difficulty, I feel like that's again case by case basis. Some courses by different professors are more difficult depending on the professor and your learning style, and I feel like that's the place all over the world. I don't really know how to comment on that. But if I'm going to be a bit transparent, I managed to get Dean's List for my third academic year, and I'm not the smartest book, so I'm not the smartest person. I would say that that's down to hard work. So I think that it's achievable for you guys if you decide to come to Hong Kong. Just, consistency is so important.
I'm so proud of you, Diana. And yeah, I agree. Like, I think for me, it has, I mentioned this, it has stretched and molded me a lot to like who I am today. Like, the competitiveness is incredibly, it can be overwhelming at first, but then I think at some point you learn to not just get used to it, but then you learn to thrive in it. And I don't know, like now I could say that I am way more intentional when it comes to my rest. I have to schedule it. And unlike in the Philippines where I would burn myself dry in high school, um, that was just not possible here because if I burn out, I won't be able to catch up with everything. And Hong Kong doesn't wait for you. So that's how it is here. And yeah, that's it.
Oh, I would also like to emphasize another point. Your seniors, don't be scared of them. They will help you out because
Yes.
again, I'm in my fourth year. Hannah is technically my junior, and I don't care. I don't care about being academically competitive. If she needs help, I'm helping her because
Yep.
yeah, we know what it's like to be a student lost and alone. We're here to help you
That
out.
might be a COHK thing though.
I'm
Some
not
might
sure
not be
either.
like that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm
Some
not sure.
universities might not be that friendly, but I don't know. I mean, we never know.
Yeah, my brother is actually studying in HKUST, and they're nicknamed the University of Stress and Tension. So again, it's all like a different atmosphere depending on the university. But I
Mm-hmm.
do recommend you to talk to your seniors. A lot of us are here. We have the knowledge to help. We just don't know who needs
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
also, on a more logistic side, a lot of universities have like office of academic links or like learning support, and there's
Yeah.
also like different offices for, say, special education needs. So if you are
Mm-hmm.
someone who struggles with special education needs, a lot of the time in Hong Kong, because it's quite advanced and they really care about, again, the prosperousness of the students, they will have resources available for you. So if you feel like
Mm-hmm.
you're disadvantaged or struggling academically, just reach out to your university in Hong Kong if you choose to come here. They will help you out.
Mm. Thank you so much. Wait, can we
Yes,
answer these questions, Sophia?
yes,
Yeah,
yes, you
so
may.
thank you so much. Okay, I really want to answer this question. What sets CUHK apart from HKU and HKUST? Then we'll also answer the other one. But this question, I feel like we really need to answer it because it's not very known, right, Diana? We're not a very known school in the Philippines. Everyone knows HKU and HKUST, but not everyone knows about CUHK. And I would say that CUHK would stand out to you depending on what you value. So for me, I value competitiveness in terms of, let's say, being the best person in the field that I am. But at the same time, I want to have a good undergrad life. I want to have a community that will help me not just compete with me and not just study with me, but also live life with me. And I believe that's what COHK has. And so we're not necessarily, you can say that we're more chill, let's say, compared to UST or HKU. But I would like to say that we're just as competitive, but we also know how to live life. And so the community here is really strong. The international community, everyone knows each other. Me and Diana, I think like we're connected in like more than let's say 5 ways. And it's only one connection that we're from the Philippines, but then we know each other from many other people because that's how tight-knit everyone is here in CUHK. Not just that, but then our campus is really, really beautiful. And I think that the physical space that you are in can really affect the way that you study and the way that you excel in your career. There's a lot of nature here. Again, we're 138.4 hectares big. That's bigger than Disneyland. That's twice as big as UST. And that is more than 10 times bigger than HKU. So that's one thing. And I know that like CUHK and I know that HKU and HKUC are the most known, but I think that CUHK is catching up. It has already caught up with UST. Let's say maybe in 2021, let's say UST is top two. But then now I think we're top two already in a lot of fields. Not just that, but there are also some rankings that would say that we're already number one. It really depends. Some say it's still HKU, like sure. But yeah, that's what I would say. And also it's easier to get dorm. HKU, you will have to probably live outside of campus. And we do know that outside of campus, Hong Kong has the highest or the most expensive like stay expenses. Oh, yeah, like living expenses. Land in Hong Kong is the most expensive in the world. So HKU, you'll have to look for your own dorm, most likely, especially when you're a second or a third year. Same with UST, it's very limited as well. Do you want to say anything, Diana?
No, I agree with your point. Housing is definitely a key factor if you're considering which universities, because just based on facts, UHK has the largest amount of land. So logistically, there are the
Okay.
most number of hostels. And yeah, I've heard several times there are cases where people just don't get a dorm in UST or HKU just because there isn't enough space. It's very competitive there. I'd say like, yeah, I agree that all three are quite competitive universities, but it's definitely heavier there, the work culture in HKU and HKUST, not because the students there are more studious, but that's just the atmosphere that is perpetrated in those two universities. Yeah. Because in CUHK, I think I would say that that one is the most lenient with how you model your life. So I kind of tying into the other question, what kind of person do you have to be a student in Hong Kong? You have to be very what's the word? Not independent. Like that's something that will grow over time. You can be very non-independent, and then that's something you learn to. I think you come out of being an HK student as an independent person because the environment molds you to be. You don't have to be independent at the start, but you will definitely become independent in the end. That's what I'd say. You just have to have initiative. I think you need to be someone who seizes opportunities because Hong Kong has so many, and sometimes it'll feel scary because there are just so many things to choose from. But yeah, take initiative and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you so
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
much. For our last question, how is the education system in Hong Kong in terms of administrative procedures?
Okay, administrative procedures. Are you talking about, I don't really understand this question. Are you talking about how bureaucratic it is to apply or to be a student there? Is that what you're trying to say? I think in terms of applying, I think all the time naman, like applying is always a pain. I think that you will always have to give more than they ask for when it comes to applying. And in terms of the education system in Hong Kong, like I think like um everything here is quite efficient. Let's say if you're talking about, let's say, signing up for things, or like let's say how to let's say like the apps. We use this thing called Blackboard here. It's like the canvas of the Philippines. The way that professors deliver our, let's say, assessments or like extra resources, or the PowerPoints that we need, I think it's pretty efficient, I would say. Although compared to I think that it depends on the professor still. So there are such thing as, let's say, not as suitable professors for you. Even in a top university there is such thing, so you have to do your research. So yeah, I don't know if I answered that, but I hope I did. And I think
I
we're
think you did.
time's up. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. For those who have any additional questions, you may proceed to the Google form shown on the screen right now. We would like to give thanks to the event sponsors, Lens Review Center, AUG Student Service, and AECC Study Abroad Consultant. Also, don't forget that we are still selling some of our merch. Please check out the link that will be sent below. We still have shirts, stickers, pins, and many more, so why not check it out in your spare time? Thank you so much for your amazing talk, and I hope you guys were able to learn even more about Hong Kong and what it has to offer to students like us.